folks? Welcome back to Off the Crossbar. I am the Coach Pete Eibner. This is my main man, Adam, the Miz Mizell, the co-coach. And let me tell you something. We are safe from the gunfire in West Baltimore. We are sealed and protected from all types of viruses. We have been safe, and we are not in the basement of a bank. We are both sealed up, holed up, and protected in our own private bunkers. Miz, what's going on in your world, brother?
Well, clearly we don't have 10 people around either, and we're more than 6 feet apart. So we're following governor's orders here.
We are, and by the way, if I find the son of a bitch that came up with the term social distancing, I'm going to kick him right in his nuts. That's what I'm saying. I hate that term, Miz.
I'm with you. I don't know what did someone not like the word physical or no?
I have no idea. You know, it's some egghead came up with, we're going to call social distancing. And then they just went with it. And now you got to say social distancing.
It's funny. We're on the screen and we're talking about eggheads. Look at that. Look at this guy. You know, it's tandem, right? Doesn't get much more egg than this, right?
Hey, Miz, let me say this.
Buddy? To you as well. To you as well.
All right. So what's going on, brother?
Well, you know, we're following the you got a little iced tea there, man, huh? Like iced tea?
Oh, no. It's post-apocalyptic water.
Is that what
in Baltimore, Maryland, where the water comes in two flavors, regular and chunky style.
That's nice, man. I like the NSCAA glass. I mean,
yeah,
high level, man.
Yeah, it was from the convention.
Yeah, but no, I mean, you know, we're trying to stay safe, ride this thing out, you know, and hopefully we get through it without any infection or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, it's been quite a while here, and I got the feeling that, you know, everyone's going to play ball until the end of the month, and then after that, it's going to get a little dicey. I think people are going to get
a little dicey. I think the lion's ready to roar. The stallion must run and run free.
Yeah. So, you know, you get your daily dose of fear, man, and, you know, you just listen to the updates and reports and try to dodge the bullet. You know what I mean?
Amen to that. Well, Miz, it is time for you to give me what I need. And when I need to see what's inside that dome, I need to see what's coming up from the Adam Maddox chiropractic mystery question of the day. So, by the way, Adam Maddox, those of you who have not gone to see him yet, the best chiropractor in the business. I'm telling you, man, you can walk in there and he hooks you up. I went to this one chiropractor one time. They gave me like the Lomi massage. You know what I'm talking about? It was from that movie, the one with the bad back.
The Shining?
No, not The Shining. The other one.
Oh, Major League, where the catcher got the Jack Taylor or whatever his name was.
No. The other one with the massage. It was like back. It's all like
Meet the Fockers. Yeah,
yes,
Robert De Niro, when his back gets all jacked up. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Right.
That's
all
what
right.
happened to me a long time ago before I met Adam Maddox. And I'm telling you, he doesn't give you the loomy. He gets you there like he's got these guns. He fires in your back, and you come out looking, feeling, walking tall. You know what I'm saying? Adam Maddox is the best in the biz.
I believe it, man. I believe it. He's a great advocate for the show, and he supports us. Clearly does a great job, and as soon as he's able to see patients on the regular, we'll get the wife back in and continue the treatment. So I'm looking forward to that, and I know she is too.
Yeah, he's a straight up back genius.
I love that. It's hard to be, right? It's hard to be.
I can't even be a front genius. I can't be a back genius. The word genius does not apply to me whatsoever.
By the way, if Sir Mix-a-Lot were to bring his girls to a chiropractor, I mean, would that be a tough job to kind of?
I would look. Let's get Dr. Adam on the show and let him tell us how he would treat somebody who's got that much back.
All right. I'd love to hear his treatment. I think it'd be pretty cool.
I might even pay top dollar to watch his treatment.
You got that right.
So what is in that dome today, Miz? What's going on?
A little misery question of the week, right? So with all the older movies they keep playing and all, I'm getting my fill, man, of one of the classics. I've seen it a couple times now over the last couple weeks. I just saw it the other night, and I was thinking a little bit. It's Karate Kid 1.
Right.
Mr. Miyagi, and he teaches Daniel how to basically learn karate because he's tired of getting beat up by the Cobra Kai.
Right.
Kids that haven't seen it yet. But then I'm thinking, here's what I don't understand. How come nowadays if you pass a school or, you go by a kindergarten place or whatever, you have the after school martial arts van parked right outside, right? And it's like Tiger Paul Karate, you know what I mean? And
right.
the instructor is literally picking the kids up from school, right? And then taking them to the dojo, they train and do whatever. Mystery question of the week is, why did Mr. Miyagi do that for Danielson?
I don't know. The guy had like 5,000 cars, right? He had like 5,000 cars. He could have started his own dojo, and then he could have actually hired a landscaper to do all that shit in his yard.
That's true, but I mean, wouldn't you think at some point it would kind of, maybe because he wasn't paying for it, but maybe Mr. Miyagi would have thought, hey, I'm going to go pick up Danielson from school, and that'll eliminate, however what was his bike, a Miyagi Turbo, he said?
He had the bike, and he'd ride the bike home, and the Cobra guys would drive by on his motorcycle and push him down the hill.
He could have learned the crane kick a lot quicker had he eliminated the hour and a half travel time with the BMX bike.
And look, and he didn't even appreciate that BMX bike because when he fell down the hill, he went to the dumpster. Stupid bike! I hate this bike.
That's a great part, by the way, isn't it?
That is a stupid bike.
And in that movie, they use terms you just don't like. No kid today would go, hey, man, as of 8 a.m. tomorrow, I'm going to be an ace, or you're going to be an ace degenerate. You just wouldn't hear that nowadays, Great.
You would not hear that. But let me also just go one step further. I kind of side with Johnny in the whole argument.
Okay. I've seen that video where they paint him as the protagonist. I've seen that.
It's unbelievable. Go watch it and tell me if he has a definite point. He was trying to talk to Ali on the beach, and he came in and he punched Daniel LaRusso, punched him first, and he got his ass whipped.
Well, I mean, that was retaliation for pushing the beatbox against him and knocking him into the sand, and then, how about you, hero? You had enough, and then, whatever. But yeah, it was great.
Don't stick your nose where it don't belong. But anyway, that's what I think. I have no idea why Mr. Miyagi didn't pick up the kids from school because he had 7,000 cars in his lot.
That's by the way, question of the week, year, month, whatever, that your answer was, I don't know.
I don't know. I have no idea why he did it. It wasn't like he didn't have the vehicles. In fact, if there are any all points bulletins looking for stolen vehicles in that area and they were not looking at Miyagi's garage, I don't know.
Unbelievable.
All right. Miz, great question. The Adam Maddox mystery question of the week. We are off the crossbar, and we will be right back.
Hey, everybody. A while back, I had a lot of problems with my lower back. It started with a muscle called my piriformis. And when that locked up, my lower back locked up, I couldn't coach, I couldn't run, almost couldn't walk. I went to see Dr. Adam Maddox at Ideal Health Chiropractic, and within 3 sessions, I'm back on the soccer field. I'm able to run, I'm able to lift weights, I'm able to train, I'm able to compete. And not only is he a sponsor of the show, but he's a really, really good guy. I consider him a friend. Check him out if you have any back difficulties, any back pain, even if it's in your IT band in your leg. My man, Dr. Adam Maddox, is the best in the business.
Miz, let me tell you something, man. We're going big time right now.
I'm pumped. What do we got?
Our next guest coming to us live. Let me ask you something, Miz. Do you know what number I wore when I played?
I believe if I'm not mistaken, you were number 14.
I was number 14. Do you know why I wore number 14?
You did not want to be unlucky and be 13.
That's correct. But I wore number 14 in honor of this fine gentleman right here, one of the greatest influences in my soccer playing life.
Okay.
So this guy, he's coming to us live in between the cow pastures of Pennsylvania. He's just outside of Harrisburg. Through the miracle of modern technology, we can beam him in live with us on Off the Crossbar. Let's give it up to Maryland Soccer Hall of Famer, John Abe. Woo, look at that.
There he is.
What's up?
He didn't have Miss Elizabeth with him. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know.
R.I.P. R.I.P. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So, John, man, it is great to see you. I hope you're doing well.
Doing good, Pete. I'm doing very well. You know, this coronavirus kind of has me working from home, but you know, hopefully it'll be over soon and we can get back to normal life, kind of.
So let me tell you something, Miz. I was lucky as a kid in a way. So if we get back in a time capsule to like 1985 and before, there was
by the way, are you getting there by DeLorean by chance or no?
I am. Look,
Okay.
We're gonna buzz down the movie theater strip, and we're back in 1985. So you picture me with hair parted down the middle and feathered back, right? Okay. I'm just a dorky kid, and there's no soccer on television. You had one option to watch soccer, and that was Sundays at 4. You had to watch Soccer Made in Germany. That was it. That's all you had,
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
The only way that I could watch soccer was to follow my brother Chuck. Wherever he played, I'd go to the games. And he played on some good teams.
Sure.
And so every week, I'd see the best soccer games in Baltimore, right?
Okay.
And back then, the Maryland Majors was like a professional league almost. Would you agree, John?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That was a lot of good players back in those days.
So I would watch games, and one of my favorite players is right here with us, John Abe. I mean, it was unbelievable what he would pull off, man. It was just, and I got to meet him through my brother, which to me was like, you know, better than meeting an Oriole or something like that. So,
well, break it down for us. Was he a forward, a winger? Because I don't know. I'm just meeting him today, and I'm very excited. I love learning about former great players of the area. So this is very fun for me, and I'm super excited. So break it down for me. What kind of player was he?
Well, I'll tell you this. Best left foot I've ever seen.
Okay.
Accurate from anywhere on the left. He played outside. He could play in the middle. Crafty with the ball. Great vision. Ran his tail off. John, why don't you – I'm talking about you like you're not even here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you remember as a player and how you define yourself as a player?
Well, I grew up in Germany, so, I moved to the U.S. when I was like 12, almost 13 years old. And pretty much learned the game back in Germany. I've always, loved soccer. I grew up in the Franz Beckenbauer and Gerd Müller era when Germany was dominating, and so was Bayern Munich. So I moved to the U.S., moved to Baltimore, and actually I moved towards the Pimlico area, which was not a really good area back then, and not now either. So,
what a place to settle, baby.
I know. And the thing is, when I first came, I didn't speak English. I spoke all German. So imagine me being like, almost 13 years old, and nobody played soccer and didn't speak English. And I'm like, okay, what do I do now here? So I just played by myself for a while, and then we stayed there for like 1 year. And then we moved to the Govins area, and got to play over there. And I met this guy named Kevin Bacon, not the actor. This guy went to high school together, and his older brother, Sean Bacon, he played for, I think, the Dnipro, or one of those club teams, and he saw me playing. He's like, who you play for? I go, nobody. And then pretty much he hooked me up with, I think it was with, might have been Maurice Balling's team. Maurice was coaching, I think, Northern United back then. And I started playing for Maurice for a year or two. Then I ended up hooking up with Coringi. Then the rest is pretty much history.
Right. And so Maurice Boylan still coaching, John. Can you believe that?
I know. I cannot believe it. I know.
He's very active on the girls' side, and man, the guy's just like awesome dude.
Yeah, he was very good. He used to come pick me up because I didn't, back then I wasn't driving, I had no car, And I was the only one in the Govans area that actually played soccer too. So he used to come down, I think from like Towson area or whatever, and come down and pick me up off of York Road and take me to practice. And it was fun. Actually, Pete Patelis used to be on our team back in those days when he was 15, 16 years old.
So
hey,
you
John,
guys had,
we were actually looking at this. Coach and I were just before the show. We were checking out the APSL records, right, through different things online, and we saw and he was talking about actually the year that your team won the championship with the Maryland Bays. He was saying that he was at a game and all that, but we were looking at some of the guys you played with on that team, and like it's almost head spinning the amount of talent that was not only on your team but throughout the league in general. I mean, a lot of these guys ended up playing for the United States national team and what then would become the '94 World Cup. So tell us about that.
Yeah, back in 1990 when we won the championship, we beat San Francisco. And I remember San Francisco, they had like 4 or 5 guys that just came back from the 1990 World Cup with the U.S. national team. They had like Eric Ronaldo, Marcelo Balboa, I think Steve Tritchu, forgot a couple other guys, but they were loaded, you know. But we had Gene Harbor and Philip Jow, those 2 guys up front. Oh my gosh, they were a nightmare for any defender.
Now,
John,
here's
talk
what
a little bit.
Oh, go ahead, Coach. Go ahead.
Talk a little bit about Gene Harbor, because I remember, you might not remember this, but we scrimmaged you guys when I was at UMBC. It was my going into my senior year, and I had to mark Gene Harbor, and I have never seen anything like that. I mean, size, speed, skill. Talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, Gene was just like you said. He was strong on the ball. He was fast. He was just unbelievable, you know. And like I said, and having Philip Jow on the left side of that, it just, you know, like I said, for defenders, it had to be a nightmare. Even the guys at practice, I remember, you know, Chris Reeve one time saying, man, these guys are a nightmare to mark. You couldn't stay with them because they were so fast and strong. And I think one of the biggest things for Gene was I don't think I've ever seen him lose the ball. The only time we lose the ball, somebody whacks him.
Yeah. Adam.
Hack a Gene.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm in college, right? And it's Gene Harbor. And I know who Gene Harbor is. So I want to see how good I am, right?
Sure.
So he gets into the corner and he's shielding the ball from me.
Right.
And I'm like trying to keep him there, and I'm leaning on him. I'm grabbing his shirt. I'm fighting for the ball. And I'm a pretty decent sized individual.
Sure.
And he swings his arm back and he hits me in the chest with a forearm, just kind of knocked me off the ball. It felt I got hit with a Louisville Slugger. I'm like this. He just turns, runs at me, and beats me.
So would you say that like climbing all over him in the corner is probably a bad decision?
I wouldn't do it again.
There you go. You live and learn, right?
So then I decided I would take it. I would go the easier route, and I marked Philip Jow, who was a lot easier to mark because he just ran by you and you didn't see him for the rest of the day.
Yeah,
John. Here's what I got to ask you this, because I'm looking at this right now, and I don't know if this is in order. Now, take us back to the penalty shootout against the Blackhawks in the final. Now I don't know if it's descending or ascending, but you shot first or last. Which one?
I was the 5th shooter. I shot last.
So you essentially wrapped it up. Now, how does it feel taking a PK in a national championship after Marcelo Balboa misses his right before you?
Well, I remember walking up and just like, all right, don't mess it up. But I was pretty confident. I usually took our PKs during the season. You know, I remember we played. I think it was the Millonarios from Colombia, South America. We played them, and I scored against their goal. And I'm like, all right, I got this. So I just took my shot, side netting, boom. And then Steve Powers, he had to make a save, and he came up with a big save, and we ended up being national champions. It was awesome.
Wow.
That team, I mean, if you look at that team, that's a who's who of Maryland soccer. I mean, that is the Maryland Soccer Hall of Fame for that generation. Unbelievable talent. But, tell us.
Pete, I think that team, I looked at it, I think 13 of us are in the Hall of Fame, the Maryland Hall of Fame, and then Pete Carinci and Frank Gosseski, who were Frank was assistant coach, they also in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
14 or 15 of us in the Maryland Soccer Hall of Fame.
To keep the accolades rolling, right?
Yeah.
It was so much fun to watch that team play. I remember I was training for UMBC. I had just transferred in as a junior, and you guys were playing for the APSL, like the Eastern Division Championship in Fort Lauderdale, and you played the Fort Lauderdale Strikers at the Polo Grounds.
Right, yeah.
Down there. And smoked them. It was like a track meet, and they could do nothing. You guys, the team speed they had was unreal. Tell us a little bit about that, John.
Yeah, well, besides Philip and Gene up front, our midfield was usually myself, Kevin Sloan, Scott Cook, Rob Risen, Omid Namazi, and then on our defense was Chris Reeve, Joe Barger, Daryl G, and Goose Natans, John Koplovich. So we were loaded. We had a lot of, and most of the good thing was we were all from the state of Maryland.
Yeah.
You know, so it was kind of nice. And Paul Retenis, he was the only guy, because Paul went to Clemson, but he was good friends with a couple of guys, and he ended up playing for us that year.
Now,
Very cool.
Now, John, as you analyze the game today, right, and just going back to, and we can just go back to the team you just described, and the competition level and the skill level and all that you experienced as a player, especially at the peak by winning a national championship in the league you were in. But what do you see as the biggest difference between then and now with the level and everything combined? What stands out to you as the biggest difference?
You know what I'll say the biggest difference is? The fields. Pete, you remember Cedar Lane Park? Our field, teams hated playing there. But you look at I look at the MLS teams now. Those fields are all beautiful. They're gorgeous, you know. We back then, we played on a couple of really bad places. I think fields is definitely, you have to not only worry about your first touch, but the ball bouncing before it gets to you. Where now everything is nice and smooth and
right, yeah.
It's a lot different nowadays. I remember talking to Paul Tamburino, who was MLS referee of the year 3 or 4 times in his career, and he said that John, he goes, if you guys were playing MLS, you guys would be good to go.
I mean, I can't imagine the difference in fields between now and then. I mean,
yeah,
it's amazing how far it's come,
Right.
Going back to when you were an amateur player, though, what about Patterson Park was probably your home field a lot of times, yeah?
Yes, yeah, Patterson and also Herring Run Park too.
Herring Run Park, great field. Great field.
Yeah.
I like how the one goal was 7 feet taller than the other goal on the one side, and it's cockeyed like this. It's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And they could never, for whatever reason, they could cut the grass, but they would never weed eat around the goalposts, right? So there was always 5 feet of grass and weeds that just kind of sprouted out around the goalpost. It was awesome.
It looked like an old guy's ears. You ever see an old man when just crap's coming out of his ears? That's the way the goalpost looked.
Great analogy. Perfect.
So take us to, you were talking about when you were younger, you're 16, you're starting to play club. You start to get really a good feel for the local soccer scene probably in your late teens, right?
Yeah, I think when I was probably my junior, senior year of high school, because I made all Metro back then. I made all Metro first team, and I was playing in the B conference. I think I'm the first player to ever make first team all Metro coming from the B conference, because the A conference had all the Catholic schools, and
right?
Northern high school, which is what the heck?
You might be the answer to a trivia question, John, because I cannot think of one other Northern high school soccer player that made all Metro.
Yeah.
Are there any others?
I think Charlie Lahat might have done it back. He was there a little bit before. Remember Charlie?
Yeah.
But but again, like I said, they were in the A conference back then, but now we were in the B conference, and that's kind of I always compared to a Division II, NCAA Division II player making first team All-American Division I.
Right.
I remember Mr. Koplovich was like, this guy's got to get on the first team. So yeah, it was pretty cool. And then after Northern, I went to Essex 2 years, and my freshman year, I was second team All-American, and my sophomore year, I was first team All-American. ended up getting drafted by the Blast. But, I told Adam earlier, I go, back in those days, to play indoor soccer, man, it was really hard back in those days. There was so many good players in indoor soccer.
Right.
Especially compared to nowadays,
Well, it's interesting, and we had Tim Whitman on the show maybe 2-3 months ago, and he was talking about how that MISL back then had, all the guys that played in Eastern Bloc countries, once that they started to come over here to get to play, and you had guys from England finishing their careers here, and there was no MLS, so you had the best of America in there too. So tell us about that.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was really hard. I mean, there's also a lot of the guys from the North American Soccer League folded. I think it folded like in '83 or whatever.
Yeah.
Guys shifted over and went indoors because I remember they had the NASL Indoor League, and then they ended up merging with the MISL. And then, but I remember, back in those days, I mean, the Civic Center, I used to go to Civic Center games. We had like 10, 12,000 people at the games back then.
You finished up with the Spirit, though, right, John?
Yeah, my last year, yeah. I played for Harrisburg most of my indoors, and then my last year I ended up playing for the Spirit, and then I was through some difficult times. My younger brother, who ended up passing away, he was, slowly dying back then. So I had to play. I could have played a couple more years later, but I just couldn't. I had to stay with the family, and ended up bagging it, and then just went back to playing amateur ball in the Baltimore area.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. So
you have your career at Essex. What was that like?
At Essex? Well, yeah. It was Essex was fun. I got to play with Tommy Caranta, Pete Patillas, Bobby DiMartino, a lot of the Highlandtown boys. And then I knew them from playing club ball with them, and then having Pete, who, by the way, Pete was my club coach, college coach, and pro coach, which is nothing. Wow. Say that, you know what I mean? He was
trifecta, right?
Yeah, he's pretty much been with me the whole way around, so yeah, but we had my sophomore year, I don't know how the heck we didn't win regionals. We got upset, I think, in the semifinals by Catonsville, but we had such a good team. Mike Rayburg was our goalie. We had a really, really good team. We just ended up losing in penalty kicks that year.
Mike Rayburg, by the way, one of the best goalies I've ever seen, but he is absolutely insane.
I think who was talking about him? Was it Mickey? I think it was Mickey.
Mickey Coachella, yeah, was talking about him. That's the reason Mickey played goal is Mike Rayburg.
Right.
Mike Rayburg's the type of guy that before the game he's like, smoking cigarettes and goofing off and doing shots, and he comes in and plays unbelievable. He's like an anomaly. It's like a throwback to like a different generation where people just did not care. And
tell you what, Pete, he was actually the Manuel Neuer of the days back then. He was so good with his feet. He was a good player too. He was a very good field player.
You know what he used to do? We would all be at Herring Run tennis courts. That's where we all played soccer, all the kids. And he would go up there every once in a while, and he would show us how to make people. Like that was his thing. And really, I got pretty good at it because he would show us how to fake one way and make it. But what an incredible dude.
Yep. Yeah, my buddy. We still play together now, over 50.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to see you next year.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully I'll play this year.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, thanks so much, John. We really appreciate you coming on and spending your time with us today, especially under the circumstances. And, I know you got a million other things you'd rather be doing at home, right, than hanging out with us, but we appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, Adam. Thanks. Nice meeting you, buddy.
You too, buddy. Take care.
All right. John Abe, ladies and gentlemen, he's number 1 in your program, but number 14 in your hearts. I said that ass backwards. I said that way backwards. He's number 14 in your programs, but number 1 in your hearts. I am a jackass. I am the coach, Pete Eibner. He is the co-coach, Adam the Miz Mizell, and this is the legendary John Abe. We are off the crossbar. Welcome back, folks. Miz, I got to tell you, one of the best things about being at Off the Crossbar is our sponsors.
It is.
That John Abe interview with a legend, John Abe. That was brought to us by one of our coolest sponsors, Grip Strings.
Love them.
I'm telling you, man, how many goals do you think that guy would have scored had Grip Strings been invented?
And, he talked about the bad fields and some of that twisting and turning, all that, it knocks your shoelaces out of whack and you get on top. Not with these things, man. Lance hooked me up with a pair just to check them out. Unbelievable.
They are fantastic. I've been giving them to the youth players that I train, and they love them. They absolutely love them. In fact, why don't we get some pictures up here of kids wearing them and loving them? You can look at that one right there. Just foot on the ball. There's an FC USA player there. Grip Strings. They love them, man. They absolutely buy in 100%. And I wear them in my cleats, and they're fantastic.
And look, let's be honest. I mean, when kids are 10, 11-ish, somewhere in there, they're not all expert shoelace tires, right? So this can be done real simple at the beginning of training or before the game. Mom or dad get in there, crank it one time, and it's done, man. I mean, it's not coming undone. So it eliminates you're not going to see the kid running around the field with the shoelace flapping all over the place. It's not going to happen.
And that's a pet peeve of mine when I'm training little kids teams. It's just like having them stop, and then they got to run over. Their parents tie their shoes, or they ask you to do it, and then you go from being a soccer coach to a shoe tire.
Yeah.
And that drives me up a wall. Anyway, but yeah, Grip Strings, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You guys are the man. And John Abe, fantastic.
Great interview today. I know his name, but he was a little bit before my time. Got to meet him today, learned a lot about him. Phenomenal guy. And it sounds like he had he was a major player in Baltimore soccer during his prime. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, there's no question. By the way, to show you the kind of respect he has from guys around, we played in that over 50 tournament this year for DeSantis's. And our team was loaded. We had a lot of good players. John's got, I don't know how old he is, but he's got to be close to 60. And somebody said to me, oh my gosh, if we just had John Abe coming, we'd win this thing. That was the one ingredient we didn't have. But anyway, man, that's the kind of respect he garners. So
at this age, I mean, that says something, right?
Absolutely. So anyway, Miz, stay safe. Be careful,
buddy.
everybody out there. You guys, be safe. Be careful. Anything you want to sign off with, Miz?
Just stay safe. Ride this thing out. Don't get itchy just quite yet. I just keep telling myself that every 5 minutes or so. We're getting through it.
Getting through it, Miz. We are off the crossbar. We are out.